This is T-Sweat here from Great Electric Quest. You're listening to Doom Tomb Podcast. You better get your kicks in before you're in the grave, my friends.
This is the Doom Tomb Podcast, a podcast for all things stoner, doom, and sludge. My name is Chris. I am your host. Today we have Stephen Cummings from the band Sixes. This was very interesting for me because the night before I did an interview with Mezzoa. It went long, it went late. I hung out with them after and got very little sleep, maybe about 2 hours or so. Woke up, do the 3 S's, shit, shower, shave, and got ready for a full day of interviews, whether it was Stephen Cummings from Sixes or Lady Killer. I know I had some other ones that day, and I had to do a whole bunch of stuff, so I was functioning on very little sleep. But I think this came out really great, and that is due to Stephen himself. He is a podcaster. He knows the drill. He knows how to provide great content, and he did just that. So let's go into it. This is the interview with Stephen Cummings from the band Sixes. We are with one of the band members from the band Sixes. Stephen, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Chris. How are you?
Awesome, man. I know. It's been a long time since we last chatted.
Yeah, Arizona.
Yeah, dude. Thanks. And wow, we're going to get to that. That set, man, I got to admit, it was the first time I ever got to see you. And not to blow smoke, but my ass was blown away. And I'll be getting into that in a little bit. But we got some other stuff to talk about first. One of the big things, I think, is for Sixes, you've got this overseas tour coming in October/November. You got a ton of dates, and especially Desert Fest 2019. That lineup is incredible, brother. It
really is.
So do you have any idea on the rest of the dates, who you're going to be touring with?
We're doing the whole tour with Conan and Un. We played with Un before. Those guys are really great. And we toured with Conan before. We did a regional tour with them, and they're just a lot of fun to tour with. So the whole tour is I think it's called a Cold Black and Violence tour.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll be doing the entire run with Conan and Un, and the guys in Un are great. They just released a new album that's really killer.
Right. Yeah. I had to miss them. Unfortunately, I had something else to do personally. When they came through, but I know the next time they come through, I got to check them out, and I just want to see what the live material sounds like. The new material sounds like live.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
And I interviewed them a little bit back, and I saw on social media that way back that you had a show with Wounded Giant.
Oh yeah, that was out in San Diego, I believe.
Yeah, and when I was interviewing I don't even know. I honestly don't know how it came up that I was talking about Wounded Giant.
What are they doing now, Wounded Giant? I haven't seen anything. I need to go look them up.
That's a very fun question. I'm so glad you asked. They're pretty much done as of now.
No.
One of the guys moved to Europe, but that wasn't really the embarrassing part for me. The embarrassing part was that the drummer for Un was the drummer for Wounded Giant.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's exactly where I met Alex for the first time, was playing with Wounded Giant. Yeah, that's right.
So
I forgot that.
Yeah, I got to stick my foot in my mouth on that one. So that was good.
Alex is such a great drummer.
Oh yeah, fantastic. And Un, just incredible live. Just there's a lot of comparisons between both your bands in terms of just like raw emotion.
They are very emotive on stage. I really like watching them play live. They create an atmosphere, which is really great. It's not just watching some dudes playing some instruments on a stage. They're enjoyable.
Absolutely. So let's switch gears for just a second. When I met you, I wasn't. I had to take a double take. I knew the face, but something else looked different. What was the difference? Why the shave?
I had a beard and hair for years. You just get tired of, or I just got tired of like the same thing, you know?
Right.
I like to change it up, and just having a beard, and I just got a little old. And before that, like, that wasn't my first beard. What a dumb thing to say. But go through things where it's like, I'll grow out my hair, grow out my facial hair, and then, get bored of it and shave it all. And especially on tour, it's nice to, if I don't have a beard and I don't have hair on tour, I don't need to shower as often.
Right.
I feel more clean. So it's, especially since we've been doing like US tours in the summer.
Oh, it is so hot, dude.
Yeah. It's just a lot easier to deal with, without a bunch of hair on my face and hair on my head.
Exactly. And in this genre, you get a lot of the beards going full blast.
You do. Yeah. And I don't know. There's a certain look you have. I guess some people look intimidating with a beard and they shave their face and they look like a child. But I don't really care about any of that. It's just like, dude, it's hot, and I don't like having to groom myself constantly while I'm on tour.
Right.
I like having a beard. Like, it's nice. It's a think piece. You can stroke it when you're thinking about things.
You're right.
It helps the brain process.
Sure. Now let me ask, because did you put anything in it?
No. I washed it, but
okay.
No, it's like, as far as like oils and all that whole like beard culture, if you want to call it that. No, I never got into any of that stuff.
Gotcha.
Just let it grow, wild.
Well, I'll tell you, man, I'm a big fan of your current hairstyle right now. I love it. I think it's great.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, it's just easier to deal with. But I did just buy a house in the mountains, so I might have to grow it back. Yeah,
that is some beautiful scenery you got there, brother.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy to be out of the city. I really am. This has been a long time coming.
You get any animals coming up, or?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We have some really big squirrels. There's bobcats out here, mountain lions, and bears. Oh my.
Real? Oh my. Yeah. Wow. I was just thinking like maybe some deer or something, but I wasn't expecting that.
It's interesting. Because in California, you can't kill mountain lions. I do believe they're a protected species. I could be speaking out of my ass on this one.
Right.
But what I've perused and read is there's a lot of, you don't see as much deer out here because mountain lions kill them all. I think there used to be a lot more. But since mountain lions are now a protected species, there's a lot less deer. On the other hand, in a place like Missouri, there's like an overwhelming deer population.
Yeah. Yep. I came from one in upstate New York, and they would be all along the highway all night. And it's just they're massively overrun.
They frighten me. We were on not this last U.S. tour, but the U.S. tour we did before this. I don't remember what year. We almost hit a couple of them. And when you're driving that bus down the highway, and everybody's sleeping in back, it's pretty frightening.
Right.
We had like a really close call. I was driving the bus, and like this deer was right next to the window, and look on his face, he looked just as scared as I was.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. So yeah, I haven't seen much deer out here yet.
Right. Have you ever thought of, like, if you're going on tour, put some deer whistles on your vehicle?
I don't think those work, but I don't know. Like, the Doppler effect makes me think that they don't work, because the sound would have to be projected in front of the bus, and the way those whistles work in a bus traveling at 75 miles an hour down the highway, I don't think that would be effective. But I don't know. I haven't done a lot of research into that. That's just my thought off the top of my head.
No, dude, I totally agree, because I put them on my car, as a kid when I was living in New York, and I kind of would look at the deer as I was going by, like, are you scared? Are you just like, did your head come up? No, I didn't see a lot, so I don't know if they were even useful. I agree. I really don't know.
We do have a PA on the bus, and we use that to yell at deer. Like, while they're drinking in the back, they'll get on the PA and start yelling at the deer. I don't know how effective that is either. It definitely gets the attention of the other drivers.
Oh yeah, it does quick. I wanted to also go over some other things, and I'll get to it with the album as well. But I was interested in the art, and also one of your other artists, Paul, the drummer. He's got some incredible art, and as I'm talking to you right now, I'm staring at his photo on the wall, or his illustration of.
Oh, you got his prints?
Yeah, I got it at the show.
Yeah, he was selling those at the show. It was a really cool idea.
It's the one with the skull on it, and
yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of like a disintegration. It's a really great piece. And do you know does he do commission work for his art?
Yes, he does actually. I think he just did a piece for a band called Ashen Earth.
Right.
It's really cool. It's like this Viking ship with like flying. It's like this Viking ship flying through space, and there's like the Earth is exploding behind it. It's pretty neat.
I like.
But yeah, Paul's a great artist.
Now I know on Instagram it's stencil face. Is there a better way to get a hold of him, or is that it?
He's got his aside from his personal phone number, which I probably shouldn't give out.
No.
Maybe I should.
Well, he's a damn handsome man, and I'm sure he'd get a deluge of calls.
Yeah, he's got his Facebook, Paul Vargas. But I do believe I don't know if he's got an art page set up. He should set up an art page if he doesn't already, because he's a great artist. Oh, like his kick drum, he did the art that's on his kick drum.
Oh, really?
Which is like I don't know what it is. It's like this decayed dude and like a noose in the background. I do believe that is in reference to an art collective that he's part of. I can't for the life of me remember the name of it off the top of my head. I'm sorry, Paul. But yeah, he's part of an art collective out in San Diego that does a lot of really cool stuff. Yeah. And we had talked about like, oh, we're going to put like the, Blood Girl logo, the Sixes logo on your kick drum. And he didn't, and he put his art there, which I'm so much more glad he did that.
Yeah. He's got some very interesting stuff. And I would go check it out and see what he can offer any band. If anybody out there is in San Diego, if you go to Brick by Brick in San Diego, he did a lot of the artwork that's on the building out there. And that's a really great venue. Cool. So that's a great check out his stuff. While you were talking about the nude woman, who did that illustration, or how did that come about?
That is a secret. That's the that I can't divulge.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the one thing we're holding close to the chest.
All right, fair enough. All right, we'll move forward. Can you talk about the Lines Across America illustration? Yes,
we contacted David Paul Seymour to do that one. David's a great guy. We met David in Chicago. It was really funny because like he came. We were hanging out. It was Chicago Doomed and Stone Festival, which he did the artwwork for that. Did a fantastic job.
Yep.
We were hanging out, having drinks, and David comes walking in the room, and Hannes and I are both like, "Oh, dude, that's David Paul Seymour!" Like, whoa. So I walked up and I'm like, "Dude, you're David Paul Seymour. Like, I'm a big fan of your artwork. I think you're awesome." And he was like, "Dude, you're Stephen from Sixes. Like, I'm really big fan of your band." That was surprising and pretty fun. But we had to get, like, everybody had, I think it's like a rite of passage. You have to get artwork from David Paul Seymour, and his style. I love his style. I'm not sure it's exactly Six's style,
right?
But we had to get something from him, so we called him up and we're like, we got this Lines Across America tour, and this is what we want to do. We want a Grim Reaper snorting lines off the continental United States with a spliff in his hand. And Dave was like, "That's awesome." And then he comes back and he's like, "Wait, are you sure?" He's like, "I don't know about this." It's like, "David, if you're not comfortable with it, you don't want to do it, we'll find somebody else." Like, no, we'll do it. I'm not trying to throw you on the bus, David. I think you're amazing and awesome, and thank you for the artwork. So yeah, he did that, and he just knocked it out of the park. He took our words and just put it in an art, and it was really rad. We try not to take ourselves too seriously, and we thought it was funny. Hannes came up with the name for the tour. he thought it was too hilarious being from Austria and not from America. So,
see, I love hearing that, man. And you know, I gotta say, I put in my request for David Paul Seymour for something that we have coming up in Arizona soon.
Oh yeah, can you talk about that?
Not yet. You know. All right, I tell you what. If you want to talk about the nude woman, I'll talk about what's going on here.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, we got something. You know, we're going to wait for some illustration from DPS before we do this full disclosure kind of thing.
I think that is rad. I think you made a solid choice. David is great. And he's so easy to work with. He really is.
And you know what? Professional as all can be.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's so, you know, yeah, absolutely. I don't want to say that's rare these days, but it kind of is. Yeah, David's fantastic. Such a great artist and such a nice guy.
Completely.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I need to hang out with that guy more.
On social media, I saw a few things that I just need some clarification on. I saw you all around this sign that it said no puking, pissing, panhandling, or perversion. I mean, it had a great alliteration to it.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of alliteration. That's why we had to take the photo.
What was it? What was that? What the hell was that?
I do believe that was in New Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what that. It was like just kind of off to the side of the road. It was across the street from the venue. If that tells you anything. Yeah,
that says a lot. Yeah.
But yeah, we saw that and it was like, oh, we gotta like go get a picture, and everybody was still in their like, it's too damn hot and I'm sleeping on the bus clothes. But yeah, it was pretty funny. I don't think everybody was drunk enough to start pissing, puking, or acting. I don't know. I guess they're all pretty much acting with perversion all the time.
It was daylight, so I don't know.
Yeah, we're not big fans of the daylight at all.
Me either.
It's terrible.
So, when you were in New Mexico, I've only driven through there once to get from Florida to Arizona. I stopped off at this rest stop. Did you happen to see any of ever stop off at one of the alien rest stops or the like? It's kind of like a welcome to New Mexico. We got aliens here. Check this out.
I know what you're talking about. No, we don't usually stop at those kinds of things. Our touring schedule, at least for the last couple of U.S. tours, was pretty tight.
Right.
So we usually stay at like truck stops a lot of the time. We'll park at the truck stop and sleep in the bus, which is great because they got showers there and, you know, food and all that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's kind of, you know, everything you need right there. Everybody can wake up and do their own thing before we get on the road. And you need that space when you're all crammed into a bus together. It really helps. So, no, we didn't really stop at any of the attractions. The venue was really great, though. What was it? The Blue Light Lounge? Oh, what was it called?
I don't know.
Something like that. No. The venue in New Mexico. I wish I remember the name. It was really cool. And they had a record store right down the street that had like all these local and underground bands and bands that had come through the venue. It was really cool.
I'll have to ask Roman from Red Mesa. I think he has a hand in that record.
Yes, it was Roman who threw the show, and Roman who I do believe owns the record store or manages it. Yeah, and Roman was fantastic people, and you know was telling us about that store. I actually need to get a hold of Roman. I do believe we need to get some records over there.
Yeah, and I just got like a question or two. I want to get right into that. So, Mobile, Alabama. What happened there, man? I saw you posted something. It looked like was the venue closed down without anybody mentioning anything, or?
There was no venue, my friend, Chris.
Oh, okay.
We rolled into Mobile. We got to the venue. You know, everything was fine. We did our advances. I think, we just rolled up to the venue and we we looked in the window and it was just in shambles. You know, there was like wood everywhere. Things were not built. You know, it was weird.
Did you ever get to the bottom of it? Like, was it supposed to be built?
There was just an error in communication with our booking agent and with the venue and the people booking the show.
Gotcha.
we were a little removed from that, so we don't know what happened. So it just seems like there was an error in communication. I mean, those kinds of things do happen. You know, you're cramming in a ton of dates on a tour, and it'd be weird if something didn't go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's great when everything goes right, but I totally get that. Yeah,
and for the most part, everything's always smooth and right, which is great. And it's a fun way to travel the United States, or to travel any place really. But yeah, I don't know what happened there, but it was pretty funny. We had a good laugh about it. We try not to get too upset about things like that. Like, it wasn't too much of a detour.
Right.
And it provided us with a night off, which was also good, because I do believe that we tried to cram a U.S. tour into 2 weeks, which is kind of ridiculous.
It's tough. That sounds brutal.
Yeah, it's a lot of nights. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and cry about it. It's only 2 weeks, but it's nice to have a night off with the band where we can all just, chill and not do the thing. Emotions run high on stage, so having a night off is really good.
Yes, they do. That is a well-put statement, my friend. And we're going to get to that right about now with the idea of what I heard on stage. And so I want you to sit back and kind of relax and reminisce about this, maybe while you're having a drink. And I know you're a fan of Baileys and Jameson.
I'm drinking Baileys and Jameson as we speak. Yeah.
What's the grand appeal? What are we getting?
That's usually like my Saturday thing. I try and keep Saturday mornings, like early Saturday mornings, to myself.
Right.
With doing a band and having a job and people in your life and just, all the things that you have to do with your life. It's hard to find time for yourself to decompress. Some people, do yoga. I was going to the gym a lot before I moved out here. Now I work out at home. So it's finding time to do anything that's just not doing something.
Right.
It's hard. So I try to keep early Saturday mornings to myself, where I'll, have a Baileys and Jameson and coffee. And then I'll play records on my record player.
I see that.
Yeah. And to me, that's kind of it's like my 2 to 3 hours on a Saturday morning. My wife's still asleep.
Yeah.
And it's just my time to, for me to just decompress from the week and get my head straight. And it's a great way to listen to new music too. So like I'll buy, I'll hear a track off YouTube of a new album coming out, or off Spotify or iTunes, whatever it is.
Sure.
And then I'll buy the record based off the track or two that I heard. And then that Saturday morning I can, get in my head or get out of my head, however the hell it is. But it's just my meditation, I suppose. That sounds like really.
No,
but
I totally understand that, because when I saw you all on stage, you need that meditation. Let me say that right away, dude, because again, first time seeing you, didn't know what to expect. You come on stage, or the whole band comes on stage, and I don't know, man. It was like this switch. I saw you walking around. This is like a different human being up there, all of you. And there was this monster feedback, this distortion. I thought you were going to break your equipment. There's this
all the time.
There's this exploding energy. I mean, it just came washing in, like this wave crashing into the venue, and it's just pounding, dude, pounding.
Yeah, it's punishing it feels punishing to me. It's exhausting.
And I could see it. I could see the pain, actually. But I got to say, I'm a huge fan of that. I think that is amazing.
I can't speak for the rest of the members of Sixes, Hannes, Sander, and Paul. But I do believe we're all on the same page. And I think we're all just trying to give an honest performance. It's not just about playing songs. These are all written and come from places, and trying to capture that night after night and
right.
be in that space. It's good. It's a great emotional release.
Sure.
And there's, that stage space, it's a different place. It's really, and I love it. That's why I play music, is to be in that zone, in that place. If I'm not feeling like that and up there doing it, then I don't feel genuine, and I feel like a fraud.
Right.
But I definitely try to put on an honest performance of what the music's trying to relay.
Well, I love it because it's raw and it's real, and it really does kick the ass of the people watching it. And you know what? I don't know. Maybe it's because, like, I gotta say, you're incredibly fit, and it looks like you take care of yourself. And it's so the workouts. Maybe the workouts have something to do with it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to work out on tour. I mean, I try to eat well, whatever that means.
Yeah, I hear you.
Try to eat good foods, not a lot of not a lot of sugar. Vegetables, meats. I try to watch what I eat.
Absolutely, and it must be tough getting on tour and doing that. So you gotta.
Eating right on tour is very hard, and then working out on tour is also hard, because I do I like to work out. I usually wake up at 4 a.m. And start my day, and that usually starts with a workout in the morning. And if I'm not too swamped and busy after work, I'll try and get another decent workout in. I like to be in shape. I mean, what's that adage? Like, somewhere in the world, somebody's preparing to kill you. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. That's like a ridiculous thing. Like, who's trying to kill me? Probably nobody. But I do, there's things that I like to do. We're also hauling tons of gear around when we do these tours.
There's a lot of gear on stage.
Yeah. And then also the stage performance, like when you're on stage, like it's just, I treat it like a sport. I don't want to be winded on stage and out of breath.
Right.
Or at least I don't want to be winded on stage and out of breath when I shouldn't be. Let me put it that way. Because I am winded and dying on stage. But I like being able to have the energy where I can, do that for a full, 45-minute to an hour set, however long it is. It's, and just, being generally able to do things. I like to hike.
Right.
I like to do things that require a certain level of fitness, for sure.
Now, let me ask you, with your workout, do you ever use kettlebells?
No, but I want to.
We'll talk after about that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would like to get some. Before I bought this house, I had a gym close to me, so I'd wake up in the morning and I'd go swimming, and then I'd do some weightlifting. But I just had a good regime. Now that I moved, it's kind of changing, so I got to change my change my workout, my whole routine.
I see a great spot in your new place to do some heavy outdoor kettlebell. What this one guy, there was this one guy on YouTube, which I swear he vanished. His name was Zen Kahuna. And he did something called Primal Play, where he was outside just swinging stuff around, swinging maces and all that.
That's what it is. I dig that stuff, because it's practical. It applies, lugging gear on, pushing and pulling heavy things. That's a human thing,
Yeah, as much as I grew up with the straight benches and curls and stuff, you're just moving, you're just hinging. You're not.
Yeah. How does that help you in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, I hear you. All right, so do you mind? I would love to talk, at least if you have anything to discuss about Mephistopheles. I wanted to go by the tracks to see maybe you got something to share about it. So the killer, first off, very long. Which is it? I guess in the doom genre we have this.
6 songs in an hour and a half album or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly.
They're huge, and let's start off with the first track, "Acid God." What can you tell me about that?
Oh man, that song started off in the funniest way. The lyrics aren't even what that song actually started off with.
Right.
But that's definitely. What could I say about that one? A lot of that album pokes fun at religion, organized religion, but we try to keep it kind of vague. But I do believe everybody I can't speak for everybody in the band. If they were here, they could speak for themselves. But
Sure.
I definitely have problems with organized religion. Organized a lot of things don't work out right. And that song definitely points at that. Like Acid God him. Like it's a cool title. I think it's a cool song or song title. But it's more like an acid, like is an acid god being something that's acidic or toxic to a person, you know, and that's kind of where that goes. But it's a play on words, like an acid god, like the god of dropping acid. So we definitely have a certain degree of humor with everything we're doing. And we laugh about a lot of some of the song titles that come up that are ridiculous that never actually make it to the albums.
Oh, see, that's something I think some people would want to know.
You know, but that song's cool because the song titles. Yeah. I think one of them that was going to be on the album that didn't make it was a Big Ass Upside Down Cross. I'm glad that one didn't make it because it's just ridiculous. But I do like Acid God. It's a little bit different than the rest of the tracks on the album. It does have like a kind of trippy bridge interlude thing that we really dug when we wrote that. You know, it's got an element that the other songs don't have, which is pretty cool.
And I believe that's like the longest track in the opening track. Longest.
Is it really? It might be.
So.
I don't know.
I think so. The Big Ass Upside Down Cross, was that for Across to Burn?
That was the title did come out before we wrote Across to Burn.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it started as Big Ass Upside Down Cross and then like Big Motherfucking Ass Upside Down Cross. And it just got worse from there. But Across to Burn, no, that is definitely Across to Burn is kind of like telling a different take on like the whole Adam and Eve Garden of Eden thing.
Right.
And then also plays into a little bit of calling out your like Orange County housewives.
Yes.
You know, with like
being fake or
vapid plastic whore. You know, that's just like this, and just fake people in general, and these like hypocritical notions of, you know, morality.
Right.
You know, people that like to
point fingers and.
You know, a lot of people just say one thing and do another thing, and it's that always bothers me. It's bothered me since, I mean, that album was, I don't know, I want to say it's probably the album I wanted to write as a teenager that I never did write.
Hey, that's I love that description. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's very angst-filled, and when we were writing it, and when we were doing the video for Cross to Burn, that's kind of like where we were going with was like, all right, if we were kids... If we were teenagers right now, in this time, in 2017, 2016, whenever it was we were writing that album in the last 2 years,
right.
What would we do with a zero budget, you know? Because I remember I was like homeless as a teenager. I had, I tried to work, but like, you know, money flies out of your pocket when you're a homeless teenager. So we were trying to figure it out. And, we just made this video with our phones, you know, real quick in a garage with some, you know, skulls we had and some candles and, you know, just kind of put it together. And, you know, instead of like doing the whole like paying somebody to do a lyric video for you or, you know, doing it yourself using a computer, which is just, I don't know, a little blasé. Like a lot of people do that. We're like, cool, we'll just, you know, we'll print it out on paper and then we'll burn the paper. You know, that whole album to me has that feel, which is a very, I wouldn't say immature, but just it's a very angsty album. And it was like the album I wanted to write as a teenager and didn't. So that's where that one was. That's the way it feels to me. Again, I can't speak for the rest of the band. I'm sure they'll have a different take on it. But for me, that's kind of what it was. It's a very angst-filled album that just kind of exercised some demons from the youth and just kind of drew a lot from being a younger person, for sure.
Right. Now, we go into this next track, Fog Breather.
That one's hilarious.
Is this just like, is this like an ode to getting high and listening to music?
That is an ode to our good friend, John Davis of Conan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the original lyrics for that song aren't what's on there. The original lyrics were straight up about John Davis. We did a show with them in L.A. And immediately after the show, when we were it was with our old drummer, and we were in a garage writing the song, and I came up with the lyrics and the music for it. It was just as a joke, like just fucking around. It wasn't anything serious, but like John had on his Facebook page, my name is Krull. I live on a mountain. Referencing the movie Krull.
Yeah.
And I do believe that was the lyrics in the song. My name is Krull. I live on a mountain. He grabs an axe and waits for the county. And it was all like, just kind of like, not making fun, like poking fun. I think John's fantastic. I love John. He's an awesome person. He's Six's manager. He does really great by us.
Right.
But then the fog breather thing, a British person from the islands over there is a fog breather. And it evolved into an actual song about, doing drugs and, cool shit. But yeah, the origins of that song were kind of a joke, which we just changed the lyrics, kept the song because we liked the song, we liked the way it sounded. It's like just, really heavy and straightforward, nothing fancy to it. Just a deluge of, heavy pounding, beat and music. So
that's
awesome. How that evolved. Yeah, it was pretty funny. And I do believe I sent John the original lyrics, and we had a good laugh about that one.
Yeah, but they just got a great sense of humor. They're just I can't say enough good stuff about them. Last time I saw them live. Yeah. What can you tell me about the title track?
Mephistopheles?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that one is
epic.
The lyrics to that one still fuck with me.
Yeah.
Not only trying to sing them, right. Sometimes you write songs that sound great and you rehearse them or you practice them or you put them together in the garage, in the studio, wherever you're at home. And it sounds like a good idea at the time. And then when you're playing it night after night and you're dying trying to get the words out because, it reminds me of like Hell Awaits from Slayer. Like I'm sure after Tom Araya wrote that, he was like, why the fuck did I write this song?
Yeah, you're so true. Oh, yeah.
All of this out every night. And that's, that one. But the lyrics writing that one it's a very abstract or veiled political type song that has to do with a lot of subjects. It has to do with my own methamphetamine use from a long time ago. I had problems with drugs. Who hasn't, right?
Right.
And then there's some political stuff thrown in there too, but it's all really veiled because I don't like to be too direct.
No, that's okay. That's plenty of a description.
Yeah, I like music that you can draw your own, or infer your own things from. Which
Absolutely.
I think, I like to hear songs where it's like, oh, well, to me it means this, and it could mean that, and when you have a song that's just a direct things. I mean, there's bands that do that are great. I like Rage Against the Machine, for example, is a band that just throws it straight in your face. Like, this is what we're about.
Yep.
There's no veiled anything about it. You know exactly what you're getting. It's all right there in print. And then there's other bands that, really mask what they're trying to say or say it in such an abstract way that you can draw a lot of different conclusions from that. And I really enjoy that type of music. To me, it makes you think, which is really good.
Absolutely, it does. And we'll continue with Motherless.
Yeah, that one, again, the angsty album you'd write as a teenager.
Okay.
So,
enough.
That one hurt. Pretty painful song, like memories of things. It's just, to me, that's just a really angsty piece of music. I like it. It's great. I like the noise that's in it, especially towards the end.
Right.
On a musical level. It was an interesting exercise in just like running the same riff over and over and over and seeing how that can evolve through a song without changing it, which I like when musicians do that. They can play the same thing and make it sound different throughout an entire song. I think that's really interesting.
I like also that in this release there is a lot of I think everybody uses personal stuff, but there's a lot of you going through what you have been through with methamphetamine use, basically.
Yeah, and even when we came up with the name for the album, it was kind of a joke too.
Yeah.
But there's two sides to the coin, and like I said before, I try and keep the music pretty honest, and what better to write about, especially with an angsty album like the first one, than stuff you've been through. We're writing now and working on a new album. I'm not sure it'll be the same way.
Okay.
But I definitely know a lot of lyrics on this one came from personal place and personal feelings, which I think they should.
Yeah.
You're writing.
It makes it real. Yeah,
and that's definitely what I want to do. I like music that conveys, personal emotion. I think, that's what art is, right? It's,
absolutely. Now, let's finish it out. Void Killer. What can you tell me about it?
Yeah, Void Killer, that's a very regretful place.
Right.
Was thinking about a lot of things I had done, at least lyrically, coming from a regretful place. Thinking about a lot of past transgressions, and a heartbroken place. It's a very real song. Writing it in the studio, or playing it in the studio. I shouldn't say writing it in the studio. We did kind of write in the studio, which was really fun.
Kind of puts pressure on you, dude.
Yeah, a little not. Like, the lyrics were done. The main, like, the skeleton of the song was there.
Right.
But Hannes, with his lead figures in that song, it was really fun because we got to sit down, just kind of jam it out in a really great atmosphere, some candles lit, and really feel it out. And I like that song because, to me, that we wanted an album that sounds, when we did the album, we wanted it to sound like you were there. Right. In person listening to it. We didn't want some overproduced album. We wanted it to sound real and live. And writing that one, I think, to me, got the closest to that. When I listen to that, it feels like, I think it conveys best the feeling of being in the room with the musicians as they play it. And when we were there doing it, it was great. Like, Hannes was sitting there doing his parts, and I was on the floor messing with his pedals and, like, making stuff sound cool. We were just having a really great time writing it, but, like, really in the mood. It was a lot of fun to do that one. I like that track. I'd like to get some more of that music on the next album. I'm not sure if that's going to happen.
Right.
But being able to sing on something was nice, because I do like to sing. I've been a singer in bands previous, not just screaming and yelling all the time. And that is a skill in itself. I'm not putting that down at all.
You had not a lot, but you had some clean stuff on here.
Yeah. For sure. Definitely in Void Killer. And I'd like to get a little more of that. But yeah, I like that song. It's really, really cool. I enjoyed it. Awesome. And writing, just a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, it's an incredible first release. You just can't beat it. I picked up the red and black variant.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
And everything else is.
Who did that?
Is everything else sold out?
Yes, I do believe. I think you can still get some of the other variants through Poison Mind Records if you want it. If you want the LP, if you want the record.
Right.
I do believe Poison Mind still has some. I don't know for sure what they do and don't have. I should probably check. Because that would be my business.
That's okay.
But I know as far as sixes goes, I do believe all we have left are the red and blacks. And I like those. I think they're really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Poison Mind knocked it out of the park with everything they did for that release. I was really happy with them. They were so easy to work with and so great. Same thing with Forbidden Place Records and Medusa Crush with the cassettes. I know the cassettes are all sold out. We don't have any more of those, and I don't believe we'll be doing another run of those.
Can you give me, as a musician, as a gentleman, can you just give me what is the appeal right now? I know that some of the cassette packages have been more and more elaborate lately, but what is happening?
Are we really going to sit here and talk about the worst format for music?
No.
Dude, I don't get it. I get it, but I don't get it. Like, if I'm going to listen to music, what I don't want is a fucking cassette tape. I think that is the absolute worst. You talking about music that degrades every time you play it. That's a cassette tape. I mean, I know wax, vinyl records degrades every time you play it. For me, that is more a thing of like, that's my Saturday morning. That's my thing to do to get sound. It's like it's the dogma or the ritual of it. And that's what I enjoy about that. And maybe that's the same for the cassette people. I don't get the cassettes. We have them. People like them. They sold quick. I was extremely surprised with, like, we got cassettes. Like, yeah, people are doing it. We should do it. Sure, why not? And Medusa Crush was great about that. And they had a lot of great ideas. But yeah, I don't get it, man. I
don't either.
It's a terrible form of music. I did just buy a new truck, though. This Chevy 1989 Chevy K5 Blazer that does have a cassette player in it, and I did put some cassettes in. I have to say it was pretty cool. It was like a throwback, reminded me of being a teenager. But no, what a horrible way to listen to music on cassette. It's just awful. Why would you do that to your ears? You hear me, people? Stop it. Don't. Bad. I think it's a collector's thing, though. I've got cassettes from friends' bands, and it's cool. I have them on my shelf. They're nice to look at, but I don't listen to them. Right. Yeah, I don't prefer that way of listening to music. And, there may be some audiophile out there who's just like getting super pissed off right now about what I'm saying, but I'm sorry, that form of music to me sucks. It's just a whole.
It's on such a, I look, I don't know enough about it, but it's like, I remember like reel-to-reel tape as a kid. And
right. Yeah.
That was a thick tape. And then you go to a tape that's so thin and it's got to have two sides to it.
It's so thin. It's got to have two sides. Yeah. Yes, you are correct. I mean, I like cassettes when I was younger because I could put, it was the first, in your mixtapes.
Right.
I put all my gangster rap on there and it was awesome. One side of gangster rap, the other side like Iron Maiden and Motley Crue. You can do whatever you wanted. But yeah, I don't get the. I think I don't know, but I think it's just a collector's thing. Like, it's a cool thing to collect. They look nice on a shelf. But as far as it being a medium to listen to music through, like, fuck off. Come on, that's terrible.
Yeah, I can agree. But you know what? I'm not going to discount. Hey, people want to buy them, knock it out of the park. No judgment.
Buy mine. Preferred if I have my choice of what I'm going to listen to music on, especially at home, I prefer a CD. I think CDs are great.
Right.
I really do. I think that's really awesome audio quality and everything comes through fantastic. I think that is the best. I know there are people who listen to digital. They're going to be flipping out right now. But I prefer CDs. I think they're awesome. I don't like I prefer to have my physical media in my hand.
Right.
I like to open up and look at a book. I'm not a huge fan of Spotify and iTunes, and we're not even getting the moral practices of that. I just don't like having my music in like a little phone or something that I can't, touch. Like, it's not, I don't feel like I own it or like it's mine. What a consumerist thing to say. But I don't. I like to have the artwork in my hands,
I just put up a post yesterday or the day before about this, about, what the percentages were of digital streaming services and et cetera, and a lot of responses. And it was pretty overwhelming. It's like, go out and buy the merch, period.
Yeah, I prefer, we get like our royalty rate or whatever it is that Spotify pays us, for my own anecdotal evidence, it's garbage. Right. It really is. Like and we're not giving out pieces of that to record labels all over the place. And even the record deals now are geared to make that impossible. We recently got a record offer with a pretty well-established label, a really nice one. But they just want so much that it just makes it not worth it. I think I guess I'm probably tangenting and getting off track here. No. But, I prefer to have the physical media in my hand. I think it's better that way. I think you get that.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, it's, I don't know if I ever mentioned a band or not. I remember seeing an interview, and I actually saw this tour recently. It was an 80s band. The band was called Kicks. I don't know if you're familiar.
Okay. I'm not.
And they had some killer hits, and he was basically saying after, and this is also in the days when they gave you an album or 2 or 3 to progress.
Right.
And he,
development deal? What's that?
Yeah. And he kept saying when they had their big hit and he went out and because he thought, making money, he learned the one important word, which was recoup.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And it's like, he says, we're on MTV. We got this, we got that. Millions sold and we're broke. We're broke.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the sad reality of it. And so the second part of that is when that group disbanded for a while, he started another band and it was all DIY. And he said he made more money at that than he did with, it was Atlantic Records, with an Atlantic Records deal.
Yeah, you got to invest in yourself,
Totally.
It's, and especially today, it's you do better off having a good booking agent than you would a good record label, I think.
Completely now. Yeah.
It's that's the way it feels and seems. Like we're happy with the deals that we did with Mephistopheles. I think we did 4 separate record deals to get that album out.
Right.
I didn't hunt that down. Like people came to us, which was really great. It was very flattering. And even the record offer we were just offered, record deal we were just offered, we didn't go hunt that down either. And it's very flattering. It's a really nice label. But it's not geared in your favor as a band these days. Yeah. And a good booking agent is going to get you a lot further, I think, especially with the genre of like doom and sludge, and the metal genres. I think you're gonna do a lot better off on your own than you are, on your own with a good booking agent or booking agency, I should say. You're going to sell more. You're going to do, the better tours. You're going to get the right venues, play for the right people. It's hard. And it seems that a record label is just going to kind of take from you.
Yes,
I mean, definitely a one-sided view. I would definitely love to sit on a podcast with somebody who runs a record label and see their take on it as well. And I get it. They need to make their money too. It's hard. I'm sure it's very hard to be a record label these days. You're trying to release music and, I like to think that, and not be cynical, I like to try and think that at the heart of it, you're running a record label. It's because you love music and you want to get this great music out there. And that's hard to do, especially if you want to make a living off of it.
Absolutely. It's it's a sad state sometimes, but I'm just glad, and I'm being very selfish here. I'm just glad that people like you come around and tour, and other bands I see come around. They put in the effort, they grind, they sweat, they bleed. I've seen the pictures online of you. Yeah.
It gets bloody.
And yeah, it does. And thank you, basically. Just thank you for doing this. I sincerely appreciate it.
Things like this, man. This podcast is awesome.
Well, thank you.
I used to run a podcast myself, and I do believe you're doing yours for the same reason, which is like, there's all this kick-ass music and you want to get it out there. I see other podcasts that people do or try and start up, and they seem kind of selfish to me. And I've done a few of them, and it seems sometimes like it's more about the hosts than trying to promote yourselves, but yours is very genuine and I really like it. I like what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
You're getting the bands out there, and it's about the music and the right thing, which is really awesome.
I very much appreciate that. But I want to get to you because we got one more question and then we'll call it a day here. And that is this wall of gear that you've got on stage. I don't want to talk about the other band members. Maybe that's for another podcast where I'll talk to them or something.
You got to have them on. They're fantastic people.
But you,
me
is your gear and what are you using?
All right, where do we begin? I love what I'm playing through my rig right now. When I can play my full wall, I really love it.
Right.
The only wall worth building, really.
I see what you did there. It's so fucking early, but I got it. I love it, dude.
Oh, I'm a ridiculous human. What I started with before I moved to, because I've got a couple rigs. I started with trying to find a tone. This is before we did Mephistopheles, and I was trying to get a good tone for this band and for the music that we were playing. Because a lot of this, when we put sixes together and we all joined up and did this, our main focus was on tone and tone chasing, which, you know, who doesn't do that as a guitar player?
Right.
So I started, I think the first thing I got was I picked up an Ampeg to just jam with at home. It was an Ampeg SS 150. Solid state Ampeg 150 from the early 80s. And I mean, it's like mid 80s, 86, I think.
Right.
And it had this wonderful, cold, solid state tone with the reverb tank in there. And it was just awesome. But it wasn't enough to like play with a band. Like, you know, it wasn't loud enough. I mean, it's a 150 watt amp.
Right.
Or maybe like 100 watts. I think that 50 was an added thing that doesn't belong there on Ampeg's part. But it reminded me of being a teenager, and, you know, going at this project and doing it was a lot of that, like kind of recapturing a lot of stuff from my youth that maybe I missed out on or didn't do right. Cause I've been playing in bands since I was, you know, in 5th or 6th grade. Right. I think everybody in 6 has been playing music in different bands forever. And then, so I had the SS 150 and we're trying to jam around, and then we were at a jam spot at a friend's garage, and they had a Sun 612 or Sun 610. No, it was 612, just lying around. And I was like, cool, I bet this SS 150, it's a solid state, so I'm not going to blow anything up. Like, so I'll just plug into that.
Right.
And I did, and that just sounded those old Sun speakers that were in there mixed with the cold tone of the solid state just came out amazing. I loved it. So that grew into getting another SS 150. Bear in mind, to pick these amps up for like $60 and $50 off Craigslist. Like,
you're looking at killer deals.
The cheapest gear, the Sun, the first Sun I got was $100, the Sun 612, and the other Sun I got was $80. That came on a deal with a Randall, the Dime Randall, the RG, or I forget the exact number for it, but it's the Dime Randall, the Randall that Dime used when Pantera started, which also has a great tone. If I could work that into my rig, I would. Might work it into the next album. So nice. The SS 150 turned into 2 SS 150s side by side, running 2 Suns, a 610 and a 612. And that just created this great contrast of a cold tone and a warm tone coming from the speakers of the Suns, and this cold, harsh tone coming from the SS50, which had it reminded me a lot of like that black metal. And black metal I'd listened to as, you know, a kid, you know, things like Mayhem, shit like that. Just that cold, shitty tone mixed with like the stuff that like the Doom heads get into with like all the Sun stuff, you know? So I was running that for a while, which is great. And then, of course, you know, who doesn't want meat smoke? You know, Varellin makes amazing amplifiers. Amazing. And I know Hannes was gearing up to get a Varellin, and I think I had to beat him to it. He may have gotten Hannes got a Varellin cabinet. Right. And there's no way I'm letting this guy
beat me out
with a fucking Varellin in the band. So I went out and, you know, saved my dollars and got a meat smoke and a cab custom made by Ben. And man, he shipped that thing over. The biggest crate arrived at my house. It blew my mind. And I love that amp. So that's a tube amp running massive tubes. That's a 300 watt amplifier right next to those SS 150s. And that's going through, so it's a Varellin meat smoke going through a Varellin cabinet, going through a Mesa. And I think Mesa just makes wonderful cabinets as well. That belonged to Xander. That's still on loan. I'm borrowing it from her until I buy my own. But a Mesa oversized cab.
Right.
And that really, throwing that into the mix, just fattened up that tone and brought in that low end and that warm, like real warm, which enabled me to go back and dial in the tone on the Ampegs to a more cold tone. And then putting that all on stage and standing in front of it, when it's cranked. I don't think I've ever cranked all that up as loud as it goes. I really want to. I keep telling like every show we play, like as we get to the end of a tour with Sixes, I'm always telling these guys like, all right, the last song, like last show of the tour, last on the tour, I'm going to crank it all the way. And they're like, no, don't do that. You're going to kill everybody. You're going to kill yourself. Don't do it. But being on stage with that full rig and playing in front of it is just an amazing feeling. Just the vibration runs through your body. And it's just the most wonderful feeling.
Well, that's like what people have told me, because I haven't experienced it yet. I know they're coming here. Is Sun? It's like what people say. Like, what is the concept behind this droniness? Like, what is?
Got to feel it.
You got to feel it, and it's got to reverberate through your entire body.
You know, and I'm a big fan of Sun. I know there's a lot of people that get it for like the gimmick factor.
Right.
But I genuinely think their music is awesome. It reminds me a lot of, to me, it seems like a whole band inspired by that Lou Reed album. What is it? Machines. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Machine Sounds, whatever. And Lou Reed did this like whole noise album.
Okay.
That really seems to me like kind of inspired a lot, and people don't know it. Metal machine music. That's what it's called. And I think that that seems like it inadvertently inspired a lot of this noise type music. And I like noise type music when it's done right, or when it's done right to what I think is right. And who cares about that?
And there's a market for it, dude. I was at a show, and it ended early because they were doing a later show of EDM, and it was all noise.
That's cool.
And there were people like head bobbing. I have to admit, I was like, I don't know what you're bobbing to, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And people were very appreciative of the set, and they were like, oh, that was so awesome. And I was like, it was constant feedback and different things. I mean, they were doing so much on their table, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I love that. I've thought about trying to go out and do that on my own. I just don't have the time to do it. Time is expensive. Yes,
it is.
But I like that stuff. I mean, I can only take so much of it. And I think everybody in Sixes likes it too. And we try to incorporate some of that into our live show, but we can't get on the album. You saw us play. Like, we definitely open up a lot of feedback and try and fit some of that noise in there.
Absolutely.
In a tasteful manner.
Yeah, that's the thing. It to me, there are some people, back in the 2000s, 90s, whatever, I would see some bands that would do what I would call a room clearer.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And, okay, I get your point. I guess what, diehards are going to say, but whatever. Yeah. I also like when it's tastefully done.
Yeah, I know when we started out, we were playing at volumes that were unacceptable to people, and we were pushing a lot of people out, right. Which... and we give free earplugs at our table because we know we're loud. We're aware. With the last tour we did and the tour we did with Conan, or the dates we played with Conan, I should say, we try to dial back the volume a little bit. And I mean, we still haven't even really gone full board and cranked it.
Right.
And I really want to because I like feeling it. I like that. But I mean, we are playing songs. So playing them at an acceptable volume level is probably smart.
Totally. Yeah, I saw a band out here that played and have everything so loud that the power just shut down.
Oh, that's awesome. You just sold me. What band is this, and where can I go see them?
I will tell you who it is. It was the band GOYA.
Oh, GOYA. Yeah, Jeff. Fuck yeah. Yeah, nice. Yeah, good job, GOYA. Hats off, fellas.
Bravo. Yeah, they bring some heavy thunder.
Yeah, GOYA's great. We did a show with them. I like their first album a lot. So that was a really cool album. That's cool. They shut down the power. Good job.
Well, all right, Stephen, I want to thank you so much for all this time. I apologize for going a little over, but I really enjoyed talking to you, man. So go ahead.
No, thank you. Thank you very much for doing this, coming out to the show, and doing the podcast. It's really cool.
Thank you. How can everybody reach you on social media, and how can everybody buy your stuff?
For Sixes, if you want to buy stuff, you can go to bigcartel.com, or what is it? bigcartel.com/Sixes. How does that work?
I'm looking.
That Sixes Doom Big Cartel. Whatever the Big Cartel is, look up Sixes Doom. If you want to find anything from Sixes, just look up Sixes Doom, and you'll find it.
Here, let's see. Okay, you could also go on Facebook and click on the Shop Now button, and it'll take you right over.
There you go. See, I should be better at this.
Sixesdoom.com. No, sixesdoom.bigcartel.com. That's it.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much for doing my job for me.
I'm sorry for stepping in. I apologize.
I suck at it, obviously. Yes, sixesdoom.bigcartel. And I mean, anywhere you search Sixes Doom, you put those two words together, our stuff will pop up. I do know we're about to restock our merch store. I do believe we have a few of the tour shirts, the Lines Across America shirts that we're going to get rid of.
Cool.
We have a few of those left over. So if people want to get those will be up soon. So yeah, we're going to have that all updated. And then we're going to head to Europe, and I think we're going to get some new designs for Europe. They might be Europe exclusive only.
Ooh, you heard that, Europe. Get out there and buy it.
Yeah.
You know what? Even more importantly, just get out and go to a fucking show.
Yeah. Go to the shows. That's where it's at. I think our live performance is much more entertaining than listening to us on a CD. I prefer a live performance of bands. It's where I like to go see bands.
Totally. Absolutely. You gotta feel it. You gotta feel it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And if you could just stick around for a minute, I'll be right back.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me on the podcast. Would love to get the rest of Sixes on here sometime.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephen, for just a great interview. Really, really appreciated it. Off mic, we talked about it, and this was the main track to be played. You know, we went down a list, and basically we're kind of saying all of them, really. But this was the one. This is the title track. This is Mephistopheles. doomtombpodcast at gmail.com is how to reach us. I am still getting back to some people. I apologize. I have been inundated, and thank you to everyone. I sincerely appreciate it. I promise I will get back to everybody. I will be doing a bunch of phone interviews in the upcoming weeks to just get to some people that I haven't gotten to in a very long time. So, what else do we have here? We got a couple other things coming up. The next interview is going to be with the band Mortalis, and we've got a big announcement coming up very soon. If you're on social media and you're not sure, follow us, Doom Podcast. Also, Planet Mammoth Entertainment, ENT. You won't want to miss what's coming up in the Arizona area. Also, don't forget, I've got a show on craniumradio.com, Sunday afternoons, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is the Doom Tomb. All things stoner, doom, and sludge, and who knows what else. If you get in the chat room, you make a request, I can put it on if I got it. So go check it out. And, I know some of you are listening, on the computer or whatever, but we got a couple football fans out there. So here's what you do. You have the shows on, all the football games that you want to see. You turn down the announcers. I mean, how many times do you have to hear all that shit, right? So you mute that, you watch the game, you crank up the tunes, you have a great Sunday afternoon with me, Chris, from the Doom Tomb. So check it out. Don't miss out. Sunday afternoons, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until that time, the next time, meantime, and in between time, enjoy yourselves. Keep going to the shows. Buy some of that band merch. And don't forget to stay heavy.